Hi, my name is Francisco Gil from Madrid, Spain. This lesson is for the first week of Coursera's Introduction to Music Production course. In this lesson, I will be teaching the main different types of cables and connectors and how to use them in a standard music production studio context. As a rule, get the best cables and connectors that you can afford. The sound route is a chain, and the weakest link will compromise your sound, breaking the chain in that point. Almost all the cables in the studio are coaxial type. This means that one or two inner conductors are surrounded by an outer conductor or shield that connects to ground when plugged into your devices to intercept most of the electrical interferences. If the cable has only one inner conductor, then we have an unbalanced cable. If the cable has two inner conductors, then the cable is balanced. Unbalanced cables are more susceptible to noise caused by interferences and have two types of standard connectors. 1/4 inch TS jack. This is the typical connector used in a studio for connecting instruments like electrical guitars, basses, and other devices. The tip connects to the inner conductor and the sleeve to the outer shield. Cables with 1/4 inch TS connectors are also called instrument cables. The other unbalanced connector is the RCA. This is very common connector that we can find in consumer-grade equipment with phonoplugs like CD players, turntables, and DVDs. But very used to with semi-professional and professional gear like DJ mixers, professional CD players, turntables. When connecting consumer devices to professional equipment, we have to be careful to match outputs and inputs gain levels properly. In many professional devices like mixing desks, in some channels dedicated for line inputs, we find a switch to match this level, plus 4 dBu for professional level and minus 10 dBV for consumer level. Be sure to set it properly. Balanced cables are less susceptible to be affected by inducted interference noise when they are connected to devices with balanced inputs and outputs and use two types of connectors. 1/4 inch TRS jack. This type of connector is also used for unbalanced stereo cables and signals, like the connectors of the cables of headphones that carries an unbalanced stereo audio signal instead of a monobalanced signal and has a smaller version, the 1/8 TRS connector. XLR connector has female and male configuration connectors. Male XLR connectors are always outputs, and female XLR connectors are always inputs. So the typical balanced cable with XLR connections has one XLR female connector on one end and one XLR male connector on the other end. Remember this, outputs always must be connected to inputs and vice versa. This connector is the type used to supply plus 48 volts phantom power from microphone preamps needed to work with condenser microphones and active direct injection boxes. The DI box or direct injection box is an useful and affordable device that lets us convert an unbalanced connection like the pickup output of an electric guitar or bass with a 1/4 TS cable to a balanced XLR connection. When possible, use only short runs of balanced cable and convert them to balance cables with DA boxes for longer runs, and to connect them to balanced inputs like microphone preamps. There are more types of cables that we could use in the studio, like SPDIF, wall clock, Toslink, and MIDI cables, while we have covered the most frequently used in a music production studio environment. See you next week.